All right, today we're going to be graphing and solving quadratic inequalities. So first we're going to do the quadratic inequality up here, and just graphing a singular one, then I'm going to show you what it looks like to graph when you have two of them. So I went ahead and found the vertex like we did with the normal quadratics. So I did opposite b over 2 times a, that's 5/4, which is 1.25, and then I went ahead and put 1.25 into my calculator, and I got out negative 6.125. So you would just estimate that down here. Then I found my intercepts. My intercepts were like negative 0.5 and 3, but you can find any of your points. I'm going to use a solid line because there's an equal to right here. So that equal to gives me the solid line. If y's are less than it, so here is going to be y is less than, so I'm going to show it on the outside of this picture. So this one right here, the vertex is at 0, 9. Just upside down parabola. So my next point would be like 1, 8, and negative 1, 8. Y is less than, so less than this time is on the inside of the parabola because these are the y's right here that are less than the other ones. So if I was going to do this one here, my vertex would be opposite b over 2 times a, so it's negative 2.5. I have not yet plugged this one in, so let's plug it in together. So negative 12.25. So that's going to be, I'm going to estimate this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 2.5, and we're going to call that 12.25 down here. And plug in. So then again, it's going to be a solid line. You plug in 1 on each side of the negative 2.5 if you want, and you should get something that looks like this. If y is greater is going to be in the inside again because it's the y's that are up here. So if you try 4 on your own, oh, that should have been dotted. Make a dotted line there. Don't make it so dark like me. So those are dots. Dot, 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 dot. Less than would be inside for this one. So what you're doing when you have a parabola, like two of them, you would just graph them individually. So here would be x squared. This would be the negative x squared. So bigger than the one and less than the other would put me right inside of here. So this one is question 2 and question 3. So if you put those graphs on top of each other, that would be your answer. So it's going to look something like that. Okay, now for the tricky stuff. So we're going to solve these algebraically. So what you have to do first is to find out your zeros. That's the most important thing. So I'm going to go ahead and factor this. So factors of 6 to get negative 5 would be negative 3 and negative 2. So that tells me, like on a graph, that I'm hitting at 2 and 3. And the next thing I know is that this is a positive x squared. So that would mean that my graph is like this, pointing up. So this says, where's your graph bigger than or equal to 0? So it's bigger here, and it's bigger here. So the way we write our answers for this would be negative infinity to 3. All right, 2 smaller, sorry, to 2. And then we'd say from 3 to infinity. So negative infinity, number, infinity. And then I use brackets because a bracket is included here. If it had said greater than or less than, we would use parentheses around your number. Always use parentheses around infinity. So down here, factors of 36 to get negative 13 would be a negative 9 and a negative 4. So my zeros are 9 and 4. So they're here and here again. This is a parabola that points up. So I want to know where it's positive. So it's going to be positive on the left of 4 and the right of 9. So we're going to use the same process up here. So it goes negative infinity, the smaller number. This time I'm using a parenthesis because it's not going to be included. And then I'm going to do 9 to infinity. And the numbers always go into those two spots. And let's see what this one looks like now. So this would be 6 and 3. So x plus 6, x minus 3. So if I had that, here's the negative 6, here's the positive 3. Again, the parabola opens up. This time I want the ones that are less than 0 right here. That means I want the section in between. So if you ever want the hump, The answer in between is always just the two numbers. So we're going to have -6 to 3. We use brackets because it's equal to. If it had not been, we would just put parentheses around the answer. So we have that right there. So I'm going to pull out my negative first because I don't like to factor with a negative. Let's see if this even factors. I feel like this was a typo last time I taught these notes. This would be 8 and 4. Nope. I don't know if that factors. It does not factor. So let's just change this right here to 8, 4. So we'll make this a positive 12. All right, so we'll make it a positive 12 now, because then I would factor into 8 plus 4 and plus 8. So when you plot these, you're at -8 and -4. This time there's a negative out in front though, so my parabola looks like this. I want all the ones that are bigger than 0, so this time it's still the hump. Still the hump, but it's right there. I'm going to use parentheses this time because there's not an equal to. So -8 to -4.